Do what? Okay. If you would do it, yeah, it's easier. I just turned my mic down. Is that better? Okay. It's just got factory settings, so just tell me what I need to do. Let me figure out where to put you. Oh, we're hot on there. Okay. Yeah, we know y'all can hear us. I'm aware. Yeah, point at me whenever. Welcome into this snowy, sleety, whatever you want to call it, Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready. Neal is in the Clark Ford studio. I am in my own office. Roads not very passable today, so we are doing the best we can. We're here with you using a little different technology. That's why those of us that are, or those of you guys that are in the live stream, you heard a little pre-show there as we're trying to just choose some different things with Skype to make sure we can be with you today. We'll talk a lot about how weather will impact basically everything moving forward for a week or so. Ole Miss, LSU basketball that was kind of created out of thin air, as well as potentially baseball in Arlington this weekend. So we'll discuss that and more with you on the Oxford Exxon podcast, brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Download the Speed Pass Plus app. Use it. Earn some points. When you earn points, you save money there with the Oxford Exxon and all Blue Sky locations in Mississippi. You also can get the lunch specials, 2 sides of bread, 32-ounce drink for $5.69. And like I said, Mr. McCready is in the Clark Ford studio.
Yep, I'm in the Clark Ford studios. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around, or you can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. You'll love the service. You'll love the product. Corey always says he wants to be your car guy. He wants to be your truck guy. He'll prove to you what that means when you make the call, 662-257-1900. Guest will join us this week, however the week sort of goes, on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. I know they were closing early last night at Rafters like most everyone in Oxford did. I don't know what the schedule for today is or isn't, but over the course of the week, Rafters be a great place to go hang out, watch some college basketball, maybe some college baseball, whatever the case may be. I enjoy their burgers, po' boys, appetizers, beer selection, full bar, and everything there at Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford and also in New Albany.
So yeah, good day. People asking about the weather. We were told all throughout last night and into today we were going to get all this snow. I mean, inches and inches and inches of snow. And I think that Luke, is my quality up, down? What is it? Just internet? What are we doing with? Help us there. We got some audio.
It's just
stuff.
internet. He's on Skype and I'm connected to a soundboard, and there's really no way to make it sound perfect without.
It's doing stuff.
It's just doing stuff. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, so what we got today, we'll figure it out. But nonetheless, we were expecting more snow than we got. I think it's snowing right now. My child is currently outside in it, but it has pretty much sleeted nonstop for a long time. So roads are impassable. They're not. I think Neal, you were out walking the dog a minute ago. I mean, what do you think? An inch and a half of ice on them right now?
Probably not that much. We went out and walked for almost an hour. And the sleet was really coming down when we first started, and really at the end it was still coming down pretty good. It's probably 3/4 of an inch to an inch, but it's thick. I don't know what it's really dry though, so I don't know how easily that would be to clear it off roads. I don't know whether a town like Oxford has the equipment that you would need, to clear the roads. It's supposed to get down to 3 tonight, I think is the latest temperature. I think the snow's out for today. I don't think we're going to get any snow. I think we just got ice. So, man, they really missed that forecast.
We've still got a little precipitation going right here.
Yeah, see, I can't tell where I'm sitting now. I can't see out, but it's 13 right now. Said the wind chill is 2. And so the forecast for today now is some mixed winter precipitation possible, high of 16, chance of snow 80%. Yet they've taken out that stuff about the 5 to 8 inches or whatnot. You know, we all know this. You never overpromise inches. You just don't. You under promise, over deliver. That's the rule. You'd think
Sales 101.
You'd think people learn this when they tell you, "Hey, we got 8 to 12 inches coming," and then you don't. That can be quite a letdown. The low for tonight is 3, and then the forecast tomorrow, high of 23, intervals of cloud and sunshine. Low tomorrow night of 13, so nothing's melting, at least not naturally tomorrow. Wednesday, watching a potential winter storm, cloudy early with the wintry mix, expected to move in the afternoon, a high of 31. Chance of precipitation 100%, snow and ice accumulating 1 to 3 inches. And then on Wednesday night, keep in mind Ole Miss is scheduled to play at 8 o'clock on Wednesday night. Freezing rain, which is not good.
That's the worst, actually.
That's the worst. Low of 27, chance of precipitation 100%. Now, again, they haven't nailed it, but when they say 100% something's coming, odds are something's coming, which tells you that the Wednesday game that they're trying to get in is going to be problematic.
Yeah, I've become an amateur meteorologist. They got that we were going to have crazy precipitation. But apparently, somewhere in the atmospheric layers, it did not get below the 32 necessary to keep the snow coming. It got a little warmer, things started melting a little bit, and instead we just got this sleet and this ice and this thing that is happening today. And if that happens again on Wednesday, look, basketball. And we'll kind of do a rundown in a second to set you guys up for the show. But that basketball game's not happening, and the roads are going to be traumatically bad on Wednesday night into Thursday as well. Because, tonight it's going to get a little wet, it's going to get a little slick, it's going to get cold again, and this stuff's going to freeze over into tomorrow as well. So, I don't know. We're still looking at a few days of mess, but, we're going to kind of scatter shoot through that number of topics. Ole Miss did beat South Carolina 81-74, really dominated the Gamecocks, even though they look like crap. They're closing it out the last 2 minutes or so, made it a little closer, made it a little interesting. Won their 4th SEC game in a row. Jeff Lebby is remaining the Ole Miss offensive coordinator. Central Florida hiring Gus Malzahn as its next head coach. And then, as Neal said, Ole Miss and LSU scheduled on the fly for Wednesday night, 8 o'clock tip from the Pavilion, at least from a schedule standpoint. But we'll continue to talk about how likely that is. And then this weekend, Ole Miss is supposed to open the baseball season in Arlington, Texas, Friday, Saturday, Sunday against TCU. Texas Tech and Texas, they also could have a little bit of travel issues at some point, but I think they are doing all they can to try to get out on Thursday for that if possible. So that's kind of the rundown of where we're going on, what's going on. Where do you want to start?
I guess we start with the basketball situation that's fast becoming a pretty good story. Ole Miss wins again on Saturday afternoon. They beat South Carolina by 8, I believe, or 7 or 8.
81-74.
81-74. 4 straight.
Devontae Shuler goes for 31.
Yeah, real happy for Devontae. He's from Irmo, which is basically Columbia, and he had never won there. So to get a win, I know it was for him to play that well, I was pretty happy for him, for his family. I know he had a lot of family there, so I'm sure that was quite a relief for him to win the way, to play that way, and to win and all those things. 4th win in a row. Ole Miss's net. I haven't checked it today. Yesterday it was 55.
55 yesterday.
55. Ole Miss scheduled. The SEC did Ole Miss a solid. I know people have debated this. To me, this is not a debatable topic. Ole Miss is scheduled to play LSU on Wednesday night in Oxford.
Still 55.
LSU, as of yesterday,
26.
So LSU's up 1. LSU was 27 yesterday. They're 26 today in the net. That's a quad 1 opportunity. The rest of Ole Miss's schedule, they play Mississippi State at home, Mississippi State's net yesterday was 93, so it's roughly that today. Ole Miss plays at Missouri. Missouri was a 36 net as of yesterday, so that's a quad one opportunity.
37 today.
37 today. Ole Miss plays
State 95.
State's up. State's down 2. Ole Miss plays Vanderbilt. At Vanderbilt, Vandy was 125 yesterday. And Ole Miss plays Kentucky at home on senior night. Kentucky was a 76 net as of yesterday. So the schedule doesn't exactly have a lot of meat on the bone. You need to win games. You need to win quad one games if you can, if you want to feel good about it. And look, we talked about this last week. Who the hell knows, right, what the committee's looking for this year in a weird year? Maybe the committee just wants Power 5 teams. If that's the case, Ole Miss is probably in pretty good shape right now. But no, you don't know. And so if you're gambling that if you're trying to eliminate doubt, you want to win out, obviously. But if they add a quad one opportunity for you and you win it, I mean, if you wake up Thursday morning having beaten LSU, which LSU's, what'd you say, 26 in the net right now? I mean, if you get that, you're probably in the 40s, and now all of a sudden you're feeling pretty good about things.
Well, and like you said, when you look around, and it's not science, but look, they know people. They're paid to not be wrong. Everybody around them, that's a Power 5 team, Lenardi basically has them in the tournament. There is something to this to some degree. I mean, you look at some of these Pac-12 teams, some different teams. I mean, you start doing some schedule stuff, and there are teams 57, 58 in the net that are either, first 4 out or in, or even like 10 seeds in this damn thing. I think North Carolina was 54 in the net when we looked at it on Thursday, and they were a 10 seed. So, yeah, there's a lot of this going on. I mean, he's finally moved them into the conversation, which is just at least something in and of itself. I think they're the next 4 out, meaning between 5 and 8 if it ended right now.
So the word in college basketball circles is that the committee just wants the tournament to happen. The NCAA needs the tournament to happen. It's $770-something million, and they need the money. They're going to put the damn thing in all over Indianapolis. They're going to bring a lot of money into that community. More importantly, they're going to fulfill their TV obligations and get their money and survive. That's where they are. The word in the college basketball community is that don't be surprised if it's super Power 5 heavy, the field. So if you told me that the SEC looked at this and said, boy, if we could just find a way to get Ole Miss's net a little bit higher, we could get 7 teams in the tournament, I'd buy it. Because Bama's in the tournament. They got a 9 net as of yesterday. I don't know what it is today. It's close, whatever. They're in the tournament. Tennessee's at 12. They're in the tournament. Arkansas's at 23. They won at Missouri the other day. They're in the tournament. LSU's at 27. They're in the tournament. Florida's at 28. They're in the tournament. Missouri's at 36. They'd have to fall off the map to not get in the tournament. Ole Miss is the only other team. Auburn's a 65, but Auburn's ineligible. Kentucky's 76. That's a tall order at this point. Ole Miss is 55. If you want to get a 7th team in, and the league does, Ole Miss is the leading candidate there.
They're the bubble team.
Ole Miss might be the only candidate there. So the fact that the SEC said, hey, let's play this game on Wednesday and let's play it in Oxford tells me that the SEC's like, hey, guys, y'all are playing pretty well. Y'all want a gift? So, I mean, it's the reason why when people say, I don't think this game's going to get played, logically, I think this game's probably not going to get played. But I think the league wants to get this game played.
Yeah, and they have an easy out here. By LSU coming to Oxford again, it allows teams to keep the same number of home and away games.
Right.
You know what I mean? It keeps you playing the 9 and the 9 or whatever it is.
Well, and for LSU, if you told LSU, hey, you're going to lose Wednesday, they'd say, oh, well, let's play it in Oxford.
Yeah.
It's a quad 1 loss. No one will notice.
Yeah, right. It's not hurting anything.
And if they play it in Baton Rouge and lose, well, it's a quad 2 loss. And now you're messing your seeding. LSU, it was so funny to me. It shows you how bad of a job we do in the media of explaining the net. We do a terrible job, obviously, because fans don't understand it. Fans are like, oh, I'd rather play this game in Baton Rouge. I'm like, why? Why would you want to play in Baton Rouge? Because, yeah, if you're guaranteed to win, oh, sure, you want to go play down there, absolutely.
Yeah.
But if you're not guaranteed to win, you're much better off playing in Oxford. And LSU would much rather play the game in Oxford from a seeding standpoint.
Yeah, and like just frankly, it's probably the time to stop even looking at some of the net numbers. Not from a quad one standpoint, but look, Ole Miss, if they beat LSU could fall to 31 and not be a quad one for a day or two. Just let that crap iron out as it does, whatever. It'll finish where it finishes.
Here's the thing:
look, it's a huge gift. I mean, the only negative is that they simply aren't a good matchup for the Rebels, frankly. I mean, on the court analytical matchup standpoint, but everything else is a complete and total gift that has no negative.
Damian Fishback said this. I can't remember when on Saturday because I don't watch SEC Network a whole lot, but it was kind of on, and I was watching some of it, and he was asked, does Ole Miss look like an NCAA tournament team? And he said, yeah, and I agree with him. It's why when I've had a few people do that little deal, and you get this, that happens to you too. A team gets hot that you were critical of a few weeks ago, and they're like, oh, they're showing you. I'm like, look, if you had the crystal ball that saw Ole Miss playing this well, the day that, I was in Fayetteville. I saw that game with my own two eyes. And then I watched enough of the game in Athens to know what I was looking at. This has been a hell of a bounce back. It kind of came out of nowhere. Yeah, if you had access to practice, maybe you saw some of this coming in practice. But if all you had is what we have, which is games, you didn't see this coming. Mm-hmm. This team, on Saturday, this team looked like an NCAA tournament team. On the road against a really well-coached, tough South Carolina team that's had all sorts of COVID issues and is just basically having a lost season. Carolina made a couple of runs at them. They withstood them. Ole Miss made plays. Ole Miss got 150-50 balls. There was a play that I saw when it happened live. I was like, whoa, look at that. That this team wasn't doing that 3 weeks ago. And I asked Kermit about it, and he talked about it, and they subsequently tweeted about it on Sunday. It was a KJ Buffin hustle play that resulted in a dunk and a foul on Romello White where he made a free throw. It was a conventional three-point play, and I thought Ole Miss sort of just dominated from there. And Carolina made a little run, but there was not really a moment where you thought, oh, Ole Miss could lose this. They weren't making those kind of plays. So Ole Miss kind of looks like an NCAA tournament team. The last time Ole Miss played LSU, Ole Miss did not look like anything resembling an NCAA tournament team. Ole Miss looked like a discombobulated mess that night, and LSU punched them from the very beginning, and Ole Miss never really fought back. This team's starting to do things that NCAA tournament teams do. They're starting to look like that sort of a team.
Yeah, they pass an eye test right now. They're shooting. From a KenPom standpoint, which I've got up and we'll talk about in a second, they've actually got their offensive efficiency into the top 100, which I would have never in the world believed a few weeks ago. But as of right now, it's like 90-something. We'll look at that in a second. But, I don't know. We'll continue the basketball conversation. Let me tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Settle County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. They're getting local underwriting that understands your market, a leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
We're also brought to you by Lammon's Fine Jewelry. Lammon's is, I guess Valentine's Day has come and gone, but there'll be anniversaries, birthdays, all sorts of other reasons to head over to Lammon's, 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford. They've been serving the Oxford area for more than 73 years. Engagement rings, wedding rings, fine jewelry, watches, pearls, children's jewelry, and more. Lammon's is the gold standard in fine jewelry. It's lammonsfinejewelry.com or call them at 662-234-2777. We're also brought to you by Muddy Water Camo. Go to Muddy Water Outdoors today. You can get, you buy one of the Tri-Zone heated jackets or vest, you get another one for free. They got 3 different temperature settings, triple zone heating with 2 elements in the chest, a large back element as well, premium duck goose down insulation. You can charge your phone with the uses a dual USB-A port battery. You can one port powers the heating elements, another port charges your cell phone. So it's all there at muddywateroutdoors.com, our friends at Muddy Water Camo. We're also brought to you by Comer Heating and Air. Comer Heating and Air is the name you can trust. They bring more than 50 years of professional HVAC experience to Oxford, Tupelo, and the surrounding area. It's 662-801-1777 for all of your heating and cooling needs. That's Comer Heating and Air, 662-801-1777. We're also brought to you by the College Corner. It's your one-stop Rebel Shop, 2 locations in the Jackson area in Ridgeland. It's next to Fleet Feet in Flowwood. It's next to Half Shell. If you don't live in Jackson, not a problem. You can visit the College Corner at collegecornerstore.com, or you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. They have the largest selection of Rebel gear in central Mississippi. Also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust based in Madison, Mississippi. Clients in more than 20 states, advisors in multiple states as well. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and so much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. It's pintrust.com, P-I-N-N trust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fee.
I guess it's brought to you by Visit Oxford, oxfordms.com. Go to the events page, see what's going on locally between concerts, Proud Larry's, and other places, as well as the baseball schedule and more. You can find out where to eat, where to stay, do and see, and more, all in one place. It's visit oxfordms.com/events. Yeah, looking at KenPom here. They are currently 17th nationally in defensive efficiency. They are 98 right now in offensive efficiency, so got that into the top 100. They're only still negatives. Their main negatives offensively, which is what's been the case the whole year. They've even improved here a little bit, but 3-point offense and defense. They are 330th in the country in offensive three-pointers, and they are 300 on the dot in defensive three-pointers. So teams are beating them at the perimeter on both ways.
Yeah, it's not a perfect team by any stretch of the imagination. It's got weaknesses, and it's got some stuff that, I mean, they've 20 games in now. You are what you are, and so they're getting more out of. I always say, you squeeze the orange. You want to get all the orange out of all the juice out of the orange. They're starting to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting to get that. They still haven't put that game together where they get the bench play, both guards play well, and all of the interior. They haven't played their perfect game, which is good. I'm curious to see about Ncaa, what his situation is. We're supposed to talk to Kermit tomorrow, unless the game gets called off, at which point we'll talk to Kermit later in the week. And to answer your question, I don't know whether the game's getting called off or not. I don't know. They're going to try to play it. They want to play it. There's lots of incentive to play it. We'll see. You do have to make sure that
Neal and I, using common sense and a look at the forecast, it's just hard to see how they get LSU in town and out of town.
Yeah, and not even just them. But if the forecast is right and you have more bad weather coming in Wednesday, you've got to get people to the arena to work. You want them to be able to get home safely. You've got to get the LSU team out of Oxford safely. You don't want them stuck in Oxford till Friday. I wouldn't think that's what they want.
They got a home game Saturday.
Yeah, they want to get back. And at some point, you and I talk about this, at some point you can't just completely dismiss the whole student-athlete portion of the deal. I mean, you can't just completely throw it away and go, it doesn't matter.
We do kind of push it to the side occasionally and forget it exists.
I think there's a tendency just to completely forget it. But we'll see. I don't know. As soon as we know something, I promise we'll post it on the message board at rebelgrove.com. So as of right now, the plan is to play the game. But there's some cynicism. I'll tell you that. There is some skepticism about it out there, but I'm sure that Ole Miss is prepping for LSU today, and LSU's prepping for Ole Miss today, assuming you can get the players to the practice. It's part of the baseball thing we'll talk about in a minute. It's the ability to get the players there to have a practice.
Yeah, KenPom right now has Ole Miss 51. Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. I just was looking here before I get off the page, the way my thing's set up. KenPom is predicting a 73-72 LSU win on Wednesday night. So the SEC gives you a quad one toss-up. You'll take that all day in the world. I mean,
yeah. I think
a complete toss-up.
I think if they play the game, it's an absolute coin flip. I do. I think Ole Miss is playing really well. LSU's playing really well. That's a really talented team. I can't stand Wade, but he's got a really good staff. They do a good job. His teams have been pretty prepared lately. They can look as good as any team in the SEC. But now Alabama's popped them. They can be beaten, but they play well. You have to bring your lunch. You got to play well to beat LSU. But Ole Miss is playing well the last couple of weeks, playing really well, in fact. And so you got to make your buckets, and you got to play defense, and you got to stay out of foul trouble. And it'd be interesting to see what happens if they get Ncaa back. where you have those fouls to give. But Ole Miss has started to make Romello White a much bigger part of the offense. His defense has improved as he's gotten more offensive production. That happens, especially with a lot of young players. They have a hard time separating one from the other. You see that in baseball. Players take their bat to the field. So, hopefully they get a chance to play the game. It's a real opportunity for Ole Miss. It's not a free shot because the loss hurts a little bit, but it's a real opportunity. It's you'd much rather play LSU than have South Carolina come in on Wednesday and beat you with a 111 net where you just get crushed. A loss to LSU is not going to crush your net. A win over LSU is going to really help your net. You should absolutely play. If you're Ole Miss, you want to play the game. You hope to play the game. Because if you win it, then the eye test thing starts coming into play too. You get late in the process, the committee starts looking at you, and they're like, oh, well, they won 8 of their last 10, 9 of their last 10, and here's who they beat, and here's who they lost to, and they'd probably be a good team to put on television. You get a chance to take an Ole Miss, an SEC kind of a team, and put them as an 11 seed in a tournament. So 11's going to play the what? 6? The
6.
Yeah, so you're going to get –
Go play Creighton and let's just see what happens.
Yeah, you get a game that people go, I'll watch that. And then if you get the 11 over the 6, well, now it's an SEC team and not Sisters of the Poor A&M, who nobody's heard of, because that second round of the tournament, now you got an 11 versus a 3, and you've got this kind of sexy Power 5 game, Ole Miss versus, I don't know, Oklahoma or whatever, where you've got Power 5 and you can kind of hype it that way. And the tournament this year will be about television and nothing but television. It's going to be a made-for-TV event. They need the money. To their credit, they're being pretty transparent about the fact that they need the money, and so do it. So it's a real opportunity.
Play out the string a little bit here. 49% on this one. The rest of the way, Ken Palm has Ole Miss a 69% favorite over Mississippi State.
That's nice.
On Saturday, predicting a 66-60 win over the Bulldogs. They've got them at 40% in Como, losing 68-65 to the Missouri Tigers. Had them popping Vanderbilt back, or actually on the road in Nashville. Vanderbilt coming off a 21-point win over State that was kind of out of nowhere. And then closing the year with a win over Kentucky at home, 61%. Let's say that's completely right. And they lose Wednesday, they win 3 of the whatever. That's a final record of 15-10, 10-8. 10-8 typically would get you into the field anyway in the SEC. And right now this matters. The SEC is the number 2 conference from a net standpoint.
Yeah, I think 10-8 would get them in. It'd be bubbly as hell. They'd be holding their breath, but I think they'd get in at 10-8. 11-7, and they're absolutely in. They're a lock.
Yeah, not even a doubt.
10-8, you probably just need to make sure you go win a game in Nashville, assuming that Nashville happens. And we asked Kermit about it the other night, and he said, yeah, he's hearing more and more that it's going to happen, which is exactly what I'm hearing. I'm hearing Nashville's going to happen as cases go down. And I think it's going to be really limited attendance in Bridgestone. But and they're doing the deal with after each game, the media have to clear out, and then you bring them back in, all that stuff. Who cares? Whatever. But I think they're going to play the tournament. So if you go win a game, go win one game, and if you go 10-8 and win one game in Nashville, I think you're in. You might have to do the little first 4 thing, or you might be an 11 seed, but I think you're in at that point.
Yeah, Ian's in.
Oh yeah, this year.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, at some point as a program, you want to be one of those teams that's comfortably in. You want to be where Arkansas is today, where LSU is today, where Tennessee, Florida are today, but Ole Miss isn't quite there yet. That's the goal, is to get to that place, but just to get in the tournament's a positive, sure. Just can't give up one of these dumb games. Can't lose to State, can't lose to Vanderbilt, frankly can't lose to Kentucky. You got to win those games.
There's 3 games you cannot lose.
You got to win those games, and then if you could split the LSU-Missouri thing in some way, you're in.
Yeah. The 3 of the 5 gets you on the bubble, probably bubbling in.
Yeah.
Probably. Look, bubble teams have awards, every one of them.
Yeah,
That's why they're
of course.
bubble team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a situation where you go, oh, well, so-and-so. No. There is no perfect bubble team. That's the point.
No, well, there's no perfect college basketball team outside of possibly Gonzaga.
It's like Gonzaga might be very close.
They're really good, and Baylor's really good. Everybody else.
Baylor's the best team on EQ.
I mean, yeah. And I've watched some very average college basketball teams that are going to be in the tournament. So, I mean, really. I mean, you know, like I've watched Florida a few times this year because of Mike. I've watched Arkansas a few times this year. I've watched Missouri a few times this year. Those are 3 teams that are getting in. And I've seen Arkansas look really good, for example, and I've seen Arkansas look really mediocre at times. So, and obviously Florida too. I've seen Florida where I'm like, God, they're not good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they're 28. They're getting in. So, probably wearing the white jerseys first game even. So, we'll see. Hopefully it happens. Hopefully for Ole Miss. Hopefully for this team, they get a chance to play Wednesday night against LSU. That would be a hell of an opportunity. It's a big time opportunity to kind of start punching a ticket, frankly.
Yeah, I'm kind of rooting for Gonzaga. Like they deserve one. They're sort of the Dodgers of college basketball a little bit. They've been there so many times, and like just law of averages, the Pythagorean thing. You kind of deserve one eventually. Gonzaga's that team.
Yeah, you bang on the door that many times, you'll eventually knock it down. Bum Phillips never did, but maybe Mark Few will. They've been banging on the door for a while now.
They lost their final to who? North Carolina? Who beat them?
Oh, I can't remember. They did make a final, though, didn't they?
They did make a final a few years ago.
Yeah.
Who was it?
I can't remember.
Okay. No, they're always good. I mean, they're always good. But, I mean, the Baylor and Gonzaga have separated themselves more than most years you ever find one or two teams.
Yeah, like Gonzaga was supposed to come on, I think it was after Arkansas, Missouri the other day, and that game went to overtime. And by the time the overtime ended in Como, it was like 26-6. And you could tell they were like, well, so much for that.
Yeah.
Enjoy the golf, boys.
Rebel 00 in our thread says 2 Elite Eights in a championship game. Sweet 16 the past 5 years.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Pretty good. He's a hell of a coach.
So.
They've been able to keep him for a long time, which is kind of surprising. But
his life's probably pretty comfortable in the Spokane area.
I'm guessing so. I'm guessing that everything's pretty good.
All right.
He probably doesn't have to pick up dinner very often.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. Travel-wise, baseball, I don't know. Guys, I talked to somebody. I talked to Hunter Carpenter this morning. He told me 5 or 6 inches of snow in Dallas that they think it'll probably get back over freezing sometime late Friday, early Saturday, something like that. Look, I think it happens. If you told me they've changed some things around, I would buy it. I don't know that. We're supposed to talk to Mike in 45 minutes. He probably will not know anything as of now, but I do think they're going to play college baseball this weekend. If there's any way humanly possible, I think the season will start in Arlington at some point. But I mean, yeah, Ole Miss has got to get there. I know they have considered flying out of Memphis. They've got situations to fly out of Memphis or Tupelo, depending on whatever it is they have to do. So they're looking ahead. They're doing what they need to do there. News-wise, Mike's not going to give specifics because of player privacy, but Kel Baker has COVID, the Ole Miss first baseman. He will not play this weekend. It does a couple different things from a lineup standpoint that they have options for. I think they can move Tim Oko to first. I think they can move Justin Bench into third from center, and then you play Cade Salmons and or John Rice Plumlee in center field. I think that's probably a possibility. I think you also can bring Kevin Graham into first base and play more of a corner outfield power bat in Graham's spot in the corner outfield. So I expect both those things. Look, it's first weekend. Mike's going to play 3 different lineups. He's going to play a ton of dudes. He's going to get a ton of dudes at bats, and he's going to pitch a lot of guys. So it's not the end of the world. The good news for Ole Miss is, best I can tell from what I've heard, contact tracing didn't pop them. Anybody that was contact traced to Baker, I think, has already had it and was able to test out of it. So I think it's just one player that's affected as of this morning. I mean, I guess somebody else could test positive later in the week or something. But as of right now, it appears to just be Kel Baker that's affected by this. So
it's a lot of herd immunity on that baseball team.
Well, I mean, it's the best news of that deal, because you let a guy get it, and then some players who haven't had it documented or haven't had it or whatever. Well, suddenly you got 3, 4, 5, 10 dudes sitting there, that were that are out. But since most of the team has frankly had it, I mean, all jokes aside, they are able to simply go, hey, I've had it. Let me take a test. You get a negative test, and you move forward with your business. You don't have to sit out at that point if you can test out of it. So
the issue for Ole Miss, for Mississippi State, for Arkansas is getting there. once you get down there, the weather's okay. They're expecting bad weather in Dallas through Thursday, though.
Yeah.
So Friday's the first clear day on the schedule. So it's getting teams in there. Can you get teams in there on Thursday where they can play Friday? That's the difficult part is you've got to put a team on a bus a team to an airport, get them on a plane or planes, get them to the place, and then get them on another bus to a hotel. There's a lot there. So once they get there, playing the games is not hard. Although if they don't turn the heat on in that place, it's going to be pretty cold on Friday.
I mean, again, it's been 13, 14 years since I've had this situation, and I haven't asked anybody. I guess I could try to find out. It doesn't really matter. My gut tells me that there will not be enough attendance in there to turn the heat on. Typically, there's a certain number you have to get to allow heat to be turned on for these things. The Metrodome was not turned on in 2007, and it was cold. It was frigid in there.
The highs in Arlington, Texas are 18 today, 26 tomorrow, 29 Wednesday, 29 Thursday, and 35 Friday. So if the heat's not on, you might want to take a jacket.
I want to take a down coat. That's going to be –
You wish you'd bought one of those heated jackets from Muddy Water Camos, what you wish. I wish you had one of those with the little battery pack and the tri-zone heating deal. It'd feel pretty cool. You wouldn't be making fun of anything at that point. You'd be feeling pretty good about it.
No, seriously, that's going to be rough.
It'll be
that's
cold.
Gonna be frigid.
35 degrees.
You don't have wind, but you got everything else.
It'd be chilly.
They could just open the roof up and really have a nice day.
They could.
I doubt it.
Inside fastball would really hurt.
That's a park that's going to have been open for over a year without a full crowd in it. Who knows when the first full crowd actually goes into Globe Life Field?
Probably not this baseball season. I mean,
they will have hosted an LCS, an ALCS, a World Series, college baseball tournament, and an MLB regular season probably without a full crowd. I mean, just crazy. Because this might be the largest crowd they have to date.
I've been in the Metrodome where they turned the heat on, by the way, and it was hot.
Oh, was it really?
It was so hot.
Oh yeah, you couldn't get the air turned on in your hotel, right?
No, it was like 0 degrees, and they had the heat. The heat in the hotel must have been on 80. It was cranking, and my room was so hot. I'd sleep for 2 hours. I'd wake up, take the elevator down, walk outside, stand in the cold, go back up, go to sleep.
You're almost doing like cryotherapy, where you do the cool off, the heat up, the cool off, the heat up, the cool off, the heat up.
I mean, I've told the story. I called them because there any way I could turn the air on. Oh no, chillers are off. Chillers are off. It's cold out. Yeah, I know it's cold out, but it's hot in this room. Oh, chillers are off. I said, can you turn the heat off? Oh no, heat's on. Yeah, no doubt, it works. Your heater works, sir. But it was cold. It was so hot. It was so hot in the hotel and so cold outside. It was just back and forth. But Metrodome was the same way. You went in the Metrodome. They were covering NCAA tournament, and Metrodome was warm. It got toasty.
Yeah, Ronnie, I think it was. I mean, I think he says 31 inches of snow. I think it was like 22 or 23 when we landed, because it was like, even for Minneapolis, it was blizzard territory. And because I've told this, we're on the plane. I mean, didn't do it on purpose, but the team was flying commercials on the plane with the team, and they come over the thing, and probably about 45 minutes out, and they said, I think we're going to get rerouted to Milwaukee. And like the death stare that Mike gave Matt Mossberg, who was the director of ops at that point, on trying to figure out how they're going to get from Milwaukee to Minneapolis and then move on from there was classic. And then the pilot comes over and he goes, "Yeah, we got a little clearance here. We're going to attempt to land." And I remember going, "Hold on, attempt? Like, that's not a word we typically want to hear right there as we're getting ready to go into Minneapolis, St. Paul." So it was fun. It was fun. To this too, we tried to get tickets to the Gophers hockey game, and you could not find them whatsoever. Yeah. But I got Timberwolves tickets on like the third row. I had seats right behind the bench for Timberwolves, but you could not get Gophers playoff hockey tickets or whatever it was.
Yeah, we were up there, and the Target Center, they were having some sort of hockey deal. It was like Minnesota Duluth and Minnesota and I don't know, North Dakota State or somebody, but you couldn't get in. No ticket. Yeah. Not possible.
Yeah, we asked every concierge we could find. They're like, yeah, I don't know, because I mean, this has been a while. Even StubHub and stuff wasn't the way it is now or whatever. And it's like, yeah, here's third row NBA tickets. Have at it. We watched Timberwolves Jazz, I think is what it was that night. But yeah, nothing from a hockey standpoint. So anyway, we hope everybody keeps their power today. So far, Spark is doing very well with us from an internet standpoint. Again, you can get the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clarkport studio. That's Spark with a C. Service people across rural communities. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's nesparkwithac.com. 662-238-3159. Phone service available. Also parental controls, network security, wireless mesh extenders, and more. So call the office, see if they are in your area, and if so, tell them to install it so you have great internet, again, at 1 gig or 100 Mbps. 662-238-3159.
Also brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners, allows John to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits, simply not available to other travelers. All you got to do is you think about that summer trip. Maybe you watch the golf this weekend. You want to book something at Pebble Beach or whatever the case may be. Get in touch with John. Give him some parameters. Give him a budget. He knows of deals that you're not going to find out about. He can give you options that you're probably not going to find on your own. And no, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or send him an email, j.edwards@regencytravel.net. We're also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. GrenadaNissanUSA.com. And we're brought to you by Oxford University Bank. OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with the personal touch. When you call OUB, you speak directly with a live person. No 10 buttons to push, no 5 minutes to wait. It's Live Oxford, bankoxford.com, or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. Planning to do a mailbag for Wednesday. It's brought to you by Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. She sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844.
So we talked about it a little while ago in the lead. UCF has named their next head coach, Gus Malzahn, going to lead the Knights. Jeff Lebby staying in Oxford. I was reading through this thing. Do you know, Neal? Because you and I haven't even discussed this off air. So I mean, I don't think we're anybody putting one or the other on the spot here. Who is Kublik talking about? Is that Lebby related at all?
I don't know. I don't know if it's Shannon. I don't know if it's Lebby. I don't know. I know that there was a kind of a player movement at UCF, publicly and behind the scenes, for Lebby, and I don't know whether that kind of hurt him a little bit. Sometimes those behind the scene. This isn't reflective of Jeff at all. I'm not saying he was part of it. I know players were trying to push him hard. There were some alums that were trying to push him hard. Sometimes that can backfire a little bit. But I don't know any details on what happened there with him. I know that
Kublik's tweet 3 hours ago, the UCF movement picked up steam when a candidate essentially removed himself, attempting to backdoor his way in. Terry wasn't having it. It also feels like he's kind of kissing a little ass here. A touch, but nonetheless.
Yeah, I just don't know enough to know about that. I know that last week, and I think I said this on the message board. Pretty sure I did. There was a lot. I might have said it on one of these shows. I just lose track. There was a lot of talk about Gus Malzahn at UCF, and there was a sense that Gus, and more specifically the people around Gus, weren't sure that they wanted to get right back into coaching. Mm-hmm. Wanted to take a year off. There's no offset in his Auburn deal. Auburn's got to pay him the full buyout. It's over a 3-year period. They've already made 1/3 of the payments. They have to make another payment, I think, at the end of this year, and then another payment at the end of 2022. Nothing changes that. So he obviously wasn't in a financial crunch. He didn't go have to find income. And there were some people that were like, hey, let's take a year off, maybe do some analyst work, maybe do some broadcasting, go play golf, whatever. But I know that this is a job that pre-Auburn intrigued Gus. Obviously, he wasn't going to leave Auburn of his own volition to go to UCF. I mean, that's idiotic. But this was a job that when he was a coordinator at Auburn and then when he was a head coach at Arkansas State for a year, this was a job that intrigued him. And I know that UCF was interested. There was a very brief what's the word I'm looking for? Where they intersection of the AD and Gus at Arkansas State, and then they were very intrigued at the ability to get a proven head coach, a guy who knows how to put a staff together, a guy who knows how to kind of run a program, and I think as the job became more and more attractive to Gus became more and more attractive to them, and it sort of came to fruition late yesterday, is my understanding. I think Lebby was a real candidate. I know that Lebby really wanted the job. Obviously, it's maybe the single most attractive non-Power 5 job in the country. It's a job that, frankly, is more attractive than a lot of Power 5 jobs. It's in Orlando. There's a lot of positives there. There's no state tax. There's lots of golf opportunities, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of things that make that job attractive. So I'm not surprised it's Malzahn. I don't know who else was sort of in the final mix there. There was a lot of talk as late as yesterday that Lebby was the guy. So maybe it was just one of those deals where they were waiting to kind of get an answer from Malzahn, and maybe yesterday he finally gave them an affirmative answer.
Oh, look, it makes all the sense in the world for UCF. Like I said, they get a proven head coach. Somebody will step right in. I mean, he's going to win a ton of games there. Malzahn's going to recruit well. He's going to recruit the best classes in the country from a group of 5 standpoint. He'll out-recruit some Power 5 teams for some different guys. You've got all the hotbed of talent there in that Tampa, Orlando, kind of Daytona area, and the kind of that triangle a little bit. Nah, that's a no-brainer. Lebby would have been a very, very good hire. It surprises me. I know you heard it last night. I saw the same that said Baylor's still impacting Lebby potentially with some different jobs and stuff. That sucks for somebody at this point of the juncture, the time it's been, what his role was in that, which was nothing from that standpoint. That was one of the human things. We're like, hell, like that does really, really suck. But for Ole Miss, it's huge. I mean, Matt Corral gets the same OC 2 years in a row. Finally, after all this time, they get to keep implementing that system. And it's something that probably, you don't say it's worth a win or something, but there's no doubt it elevates Ole Miss for 2021 and what it means for that program from a small scale year standpoint.
Yeah, 2 things. One, my concern if I were UCF, what would worry me about a Gus Malzahn is he hungry? Does he, is he, because he doesn't come across as pissed off about what happened at Auburn. He doesn't. I've not heard Gus Malzahn say, you know what, they made a mistake. I was going to keep winning there. Auburn wasn't anything special there at the end. Got a ton of money. He's not an extravagant guy. I'd be a little concerned. Am I getting the Ole Miss Houston Nutt version of Gus Malzahn?
Yeah, it's late in the game for his staff, and like you said, and even beyond hungry, and hungry is the right word too. Has he had time to kind of reflect? Has he had time to go, okay, here's why this didn't go so well at the end. Here's why I was on a hot seat. Here's what I didn't do. Here's what I did do. I mean, really a full self-analysis, if you will. And I don't know if there has been time for that. I mean, he's still coming off the high a little bit. Yeah. So it's an easier job than Auburn.
Oh,
but there's
sure.
no doubt you can screw it up.
It's an easier job in terms of you're not battling Nick Saban and Kirby Smart. You're not battling those machines day in and day out. You're not competing against them. You're competing against SMU and USF and
Yeah.
hell, I don't know who else you're competing against. I don't know. Memphis.
Yeah.
Competing against Memphis. I mean,
Cincinnati.
Yeah, and Gus is a better coach than the cats at Memphis and USF and stuff. He probably will be okay.
It's a little bit like we talk about. Well, you can sit at Liberty and win a lot. And he's going to outcoach a lot of folks.
Yeah. As for Ole Miss, look, it's a couple things you can take from this. One, the overriding positive is that, as you mentioned, you get continuity. You keep your staff together for another year. It benefits an offense that has a lot of guys coming back. There will be the continuity of that for the players. But if you're Ole Miss, you also have to turn around and you got to pay some attention to this. Jeff Lebby's a hot name. He's only going to get hotter, one would think, if you win the way that I think Ole Miss thinks it can and should win. So you got to start thinking it down the road a little bit. If you're assuming Lane Kiffin's at Ole Miss for a fourth year, you've got to start. If you're him, you've got to start putting together that offensive coordinator list pretty quick, because the odds are overwhelming. If you look at the way Lebby pursued this job, the way Lebby's name came up with Arkansas State, the way it now came up with UCF, you're not going to be able to keep him probably for a third year as an offensive coordinator. That is likely not realistic. And so you've got to start thinking about those things. And then if you're Ole Miss, gives you another year to get to know Jeff Lebby in the event that Lane Kiffin wins so big that he moves on. You'd have to make a decision pretty quickly about, is this your guy? So, gets you a little more time to figure that out. It's frankly, from an Ole Miss standpoint, it's a bullet dodged. The odds of you dodging this bullet a second year, probably not real good. And now you know that. So if you're not super prepared for it a year from now, that's probably on you, because you should be. Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, year 2 feels like a gift. So year 3,
Yeah, if you're counting on year 3, you would. If you told me that Jeff Lebby and those guys are at Ole Miss in 2022 as the offensive coordinator, I would tell you that something probably went wrong.
That's one of the reasons Lebby's contract probably is what it is. I mean, at Ole Miss, now Keith hasn't, but typically they're not completely against, especially with a commodity like Lebby where you do the 3-year deal or something. But frankly, the 3-year deal didn't matter here. You know what I mean? You give Lebby a 2-year deal worth $1.2 million and go, hey, we're paying you a top 20 salary. We know that, that you running the length of this contract with no changes isn't high anyway. So let's not make us pay some stupid buyout that frankly is not going to be a buyout, because you're going to move up and be a head coach and you don't need a 3-year contract. So here, sign this, move on.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think that plays a role into it.
Yeah, I agree.
Ole Miss has protection in there to keep Lebby from going to be a coordinator anywhere else, but that's not the concern. The concern is head coach. So,
but it's good news. It's good news for Matt Corral, certainly. And I've got Ole Miss sitting in that 9-3 range next season, and this does nothing to change that. And it would have been a challenge for Lane Kiffin in the event that he lost Lebby and Clement this late in the process. It would have been a challenge to go find that type of a combination, put them in place, ready for ready for spring football or whatever the case may be, whatever that ends up looking like. But to get ready for a 2021 season that starts in September, this is, like I said, it's a bullet dodged, and they should be a really dynamic offense a year from now. It's because it takes a lot of you don't have another transition. Now it's just continuity. It's teaching young guys, but teaching new guys, but you've got a quarterback that knows the system. And for Matt Corral, this is probably a real opportunity for him to make another huge jump as a player.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in my home office. The curtain does kind of look dressing room. It feels like you just kind of pull it out behind you and close yourself in a little bit there.
It does.
Took my laptop to like JCPenney's or something.
They must have thought that was like a shower curtain or something.
Yeah. So
whatever.
Yeah, I've got like a lamp over the computer because it's kind of dark in here, but it's all right. I think we're making do the best we can.
Frankly, this is more than we used to be able to do. We didn't used to be able to have the ability. We would have to Zoom this and then load it and make it where you watch the video later. You're actually watching this live.
Well, yeah, and I finally figured it out, but Zoom kept doing that thing too where it didn't function well with YouTube, and it wanted to put 7,000 ads all in the middle of it, I appreciate the capitalism of it, but it made it unwatchable. Zoom thought every time there was a pause, it needed to put a commercial in. So it would throw commercials like every 90 seconds throughout the entire video.
And Ecamm doesn't do that.
No, Ecamm does not do that. It's okay. It behaves. So
Ecamm's got.
Well, that was also my concern. It's actually my concern for tomorrow too. I'm hoping the roads are a little better and we figure something out, because I'm recording an interview earlier in the day that will run in tomorrow's podcast, but I don't know how to get it to you.
You could try to Dropbox it.
I don't know the size. We might have to figure out if there's a way to Dropbox, if there's a way to do something along those lines, because if I just text it to you, it's going to be very blurry and it's going to compress it too much.
Yeah. Caroline did she did a video for her tryout, the first thing, and she sent it to me so I could look at it. And it was only 4 minutes. And it's pretty clear, but it wouldn't have worked on a phone. Maybe it might work. Yeah. It might work on this.
Okay. Fair enough.
Adam, thank you for the super chat. He says, "Cheers, guys! Spending my birthday hunkered down in Nashville with the wife and the Clark Ford studio. Glad to be a part of your President's Day, Adam. Appreciate you being with us.
Is it still President's Day, or have they changed it just to Washington?
Oh, is it Washington's birthday?
Well, I don't know. On my weather app of all things this morning, when I pulled it up to check the snow and stuff, it said Washington's birthday on it.
Oh.
I don't know. That's what it said.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, I'm looking at it here. Let's see. Yeah, forecast. Well, it's waiting on the server. They're having a little bit of a problem because I think there's like snow and ice and stuff on the servers. So stuff's not coming through on the phones Yeah, it says Washington's birthday on it.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, 100% snow and sleet. Well, they got that right.
Well, the sleet part they got right.
Snow and wintry mix on Wednesday. 100% of wintry mix and freezing rain on Wednesday night.
Yeah, freezing rain's not good.
No, that's bad. Dallas asking about this week. Travel is becoming an issue quickly for everyone involved, including myself. So yeah,
Frankly, you've gone from going to probably not going.
Yeah, it's just it's a mess for multiple reasons. So.
I don't think we're getting any more weather today, though. I mean, the percentages are like 6%, 8%.
But I mean, nothing's gonna thaw.
No, it's going to do the opposite of thawing. The low tonight's 3. It looks like north of us, though, like Memphis and that area north, they're getting hammered with what appears to be ice, though. No, it's snow. They're getting snow all over, like, starting in Hernando for sure, north through Memphis, Blytheville, Sykeston, Cape Girardeau, all of that. They're getting a ton of snow.
Okay.
St. Louis getting hammered by snow.
Whenever the roads do thaw a little bit, you can call on Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy, because G&M delivers locally in the Oxford area. They also offer MedSync for your prescriptions just once a month, whether it be picked up there at the pharmacy or delivered to your home. 662-236-2222. They also offer Right Way Meds, which individually packages your medication for those who need them with day and time on them. Make it easy, because that can save a life in the process. Make sure you take the medicine you need when you need it. Again, whether it be Holly Springs on the Square or South Lamar in Oxford with G&M. Again, that's 662-236-2222.
We're also brought to you by Bain, Moss & Bowen, located in historic downtown Corinth. Their firm practices a wider range of law, from DUI defense to car wrecks to representing government entities. Bain, Moss & Bowen's the only firm in Mississippi made up of a state legislator, a former assistant district attorney, and a former circuit court judge. Their experience is unmatched in that regard, and you can tap into it by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth, or by calling them at 662-287-1620. Also brought to you by Alpha Specialties, located at 1670 Highway 80 in Pearl. Alpha Specialties is your trailer-specific professional. Alpha's the premium trailer dealership in Mississippi. They've got Load Trail, which is the premium brand trailer, the highest quality utility equipment dump and gooseneck trailer being built today. They also have Hallmark cargo trailers, one of the most quality cargo trailers on the market, perfect for hauling goods to markets and shows, ATVs to deer camp, hauling race cars, and more. For podcast listeners, Alpha has spare tires and wheels starting at just $100, a full selection of trailer parts and accessories, hitches, winches, straps, and more. They also do all types of truck accessories. Listeners can get 10% off a yearly trailer service and inspection at Alpha's full service shop. 601-932-9798 or alphaofms.com. We're also brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans. They make the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Raw denim jeans, custom fit, and hand-tailored in Tupelo, Mississippi. One size fits one at BlueDeltaJeans.com. Blue Delta's been advertising with us for the past 2 years. We've always directed you to DM them to set up a time to get measured. But now, whether you're coming to Oxford or not, you can visit BlueDeltaJeans.com to get measured by their virtual tailor and design your own jeans. And just for our podcast listeners, enter the discount code Rebel Grove. That's all one word, lowercase, Rebel Grove at checkout. Get 10% off your order. Most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. You'll feel the exact same way, too. And we're brought to you by The Rogue. The Rogue is your destination for fine men's clothing. Their stylist hand-select pieces from top designers. From work to lifestyle to nightlife, there's the perfect something for everyone at The Rogue. All the best items from Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, Jack Victor, Duckhead, Halsey, True Grit, and so much more at The Rogue, 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, or at therogue.com.
Big Rep 601, thanks for the super chat. Which SEC coaches are on the hot seat end of the year? What are we talking about? Football in the fall or what? What sport are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know. If it's basketball, it's good.
He said football.
Football?
Yeah.
Ooh. Well, let's think.
It could be a quiet year in that regard.
Let's think who's not. Obviously not Alabama, not Auburn. LSU could be. Arkansas won't be. Ole Miss won't be. I guess it's conceivable Mississippi State would be, but not likely. A&M won't be.
LSU could be.
Yeah, LSU's the one I said could be. In the East, probably not Kentucky. It won't be Tennessee. It's new staff. Won't be Georgia.
South Carolina,
won't be Florida. Carolina's got a new staff. Bandy's got a new staff. Not Missouri, yeah. So Orgeron.
I think that's it.
Orgeron and possibly Leach if it went really bad. It would have to go exceptionally bad to eat that money at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I just can't see it. I mean, although I hate saying can't because we saw there's plenty of turnover during a pandemic season, so it still happens.
Orgeron's the one that could get in trouble.
I think it's – do what now?
I said Orgeron's the one that could get in trouble. That's
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, some bad looks and some bad football will do that in a hurry.
Yeah.
Looking at a mock draft from Todd McShay, Elijah Moore not in the first round of this here mock draft, although 5 or 6 wide receivers going in the first round here with his. I assume Elijah's probably looking at early second and something like this. Looking at it here, got Zach Wilson, quarterback of BYU, going number 2 to the Jets.
A lot of people really like him. He'd scare me a little bit, but I don't know why.
Yeah.
Just BYU.
Kadarius Toney, wide receiver at Florida, going 19 overall to Washington. Jalen Waddle going number 8 overall to the Miami Dolphins via a trade with the Carolina Panthers, obviously from Alabama there. Devontae Smith, wide receiver, Heisman winner, going number 7 to Detroit in this one. And then Jamar Chase, wide receiver, LSU, going number 6 to the Eagles.
Yeah, I would think Elijah's going to have a hard time getting in the first round. But early second round makes a lot of sense for him. And he's on the right team. There's been a lot of talk about the Titans, for example, who kind of need a speed guy in the middle of the field. On the right team, he could be really impactful quick.
I mean, he's kind of the opposite but the same as far as DK finding that right fit. Yeah, I mean, you find the right fit that needs his kind of guys, kind of what Metcalf brought to Seahawks, same thing. Top 4 picks, all quarterbacks. Trey Lance, quarterback, North Dakota State, number 3. They've got him to the Carolina Panthers because they've got the Panthers trading with Miami and Houston to get the number 3 pick here. And then Justin Fields, number 4 overall to the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, so, I think the Falcons go quarterback. Makes for that.
Kyle Pitts, number 11 to the Giants.
I was going to ask where Kyle Pitts was going.
Oh. What is that for? Okay.
What did I miss?
I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay.
No. Not for public consumption. Chicago Bears, Mac Jones, number 12 overall in a trade with the 49ers.
I would be surprised at this point if the Bears go quarterback in the draft.
Okay.
Based on just stuff. I think they end up making a deal.
Let's see. Just kind of looking for anything else that sticks out.
If you're the Eagles, you've put yourself in a spot where if you're not careful, you're running down the value on Carson Wentz, by the way, where you're going to get even less for him. Luke Jenkins says Saints get Matt Ryan. Would you be able to watch that? Matt Ryan wearing a Saints uniform? I think we're starting to lose Chase's connection a little bit.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah, good. You froze for a minute there. If I didn't catch that whole deal to the end, but I think I got the gist.
Yeah, you're starting to freeze a little bit on my end.
Okay. Well, we're close to that.
Yeah,
couple picks here I really like. Baltimore Ravens, 27th overall, taking J.C. Horn out of South Carolina at 27. I like that a lot. And then Saints taking offensive tackle in this one, by the way. And then the one I love, because I'm pretty high on him. It's not the unheralded guy, but it's still one I like. Number 30, Buffalo, taking Najee Harris. The way he would fit that team.
Oh yeah,
that's good.
I think he could be as impactful at the pro game early as Clyde Edwards-Helaire was for Kansas City.
Yeah, I love him, Najee Harris there, 30th overall to the Bills. So that's a huge one right there.
Yeah, and there's people talking about Ingram. Tony Yayo says Ingram better than Kyle Pitts. Look, I love Devin as a college player, and I'm happy that he's had the success he's had. But Kyle Pitts is a better prospect, night and day better prospect than Evan Ingram was coming out of college. Pitts is the real deal, man. I mean, he's a potential NFL star, and I say that knowing that Evan Ingram's a Pro Bowler. Kyle Pitts is
no doubt.
Kyle Pitts is a potential difference maker.
Yeah. All right. We'll be back with a show tomorrow. Said some of it will be pre-recorded, but nonetheless, we'll have it for you in a stream here, I guess. Barring anything crazy, we can do that technologically. So we will have that. I've got Mike in a minute, so anything that's updated from that, I'll put on the RoboGrove.com message board and I'll let you guys know. Probably write something today as well. So all baseball information that we have at our disposal will be put out there, and we'll be back tomorrow. So y'all stay safe, stay warm, stay off the roads, and we'll talk to you again very soon.